movie star vanishes on her wedding day. So they dress up a stranger and marry her to the groom for 1 hour. But what happens when the fake vows turn out to be real? The movie begins at a wedding with no bride. Crowds wait outside a hotel for movie star Lara Tyler. But it is a trick. The streets are flooded with decoy brides. Therefore, the press cannot tell which one is real. The reason is a man in the closet. A wedding photographer has been hiding for hours. He is Marco Bellani, the paparazzo Lara hates most. Therefore, her big day is ruined again. Lara swears her next wedding will be impossible to find. She and her team decide to disappear completely. No press, no leaks, nowhere on any map. They need somewhere crazy remote. So they pick a tiny Scottish island called Heg, a place almost nobody has ever heard of. Meanwhile, on Heg, a woman named Katie phones her mother. Katie is coming home after her city life fell apart. Her mother says a kind, faithful man is waiting out there for her. But Katie insists she is finished with love, calling herself kryptonite to men. Katie arrives just as the last single man on the island is marrying someone else. Therefore, she has missed her chance again. She asks the laird for her old job back. Her fancy city career writing a trouser catalog has quietly fallen apart. She simply ran out of ways to describe pockets. The laird reminds her of the old island custom, the dance of the dead, where every man must dance with every woman. Katie decides to stay for good. Nothing ever happens on Heg, and that is starting to sound perfect. But she has no idea a Hollywood circus is heading her way. The laird rents his castle to strangers claiming to be marketing people. Therefore, money finally comes to Heg. But the strangers are Lara's crew, and that was the last anyone saw of the Americans.
And that was the last we any of us saw.
There is a problem. James, Lara's fiancé, wrote a novel describing a glorious island castle. The real castle is a crumbling ruin. Therefore, the crew must rebuild the fantasy overnight. James arrives by boat, blindfolded to the location. He adores Lara and thinks this island is perfect. Then he realizes the truth. This is Heg, the very place he invented in his book without ever visiting. Lara believes he researched it for years, but James made every word up. Therefore, he starts to unravel. Steve warns him to keep his head down. Only 7 people know they are here. Anyone asks, it is a marketing conference. Now watch who James bumps into while hiding in an old island toilet.
Got hold of a kazoo.
Sorry.
Oh, no.
Similar hat.
Sorry to barge in on you, Mrs.
Not Mrs.
It is Katie. James panics and gives a fake name, John Johnson. Katie tears his book apart, not knowing he wrote it. She calls the love story soulless. Therefore, James is stung. Still sparks fly. Katie half flirts, then remembers she has sworn off men entirely. Meanwhile, Marco Bellani sneaks onto the island disguised as a monk. He is hunting Lara's photo. Then disaster. During an exercise video, Lara steps outside for air and simply disappears. She is gone. And worse, Bellani may have spotted her hiding in a tree by the chapel. Steve invents a desperate plan. Hold the wedding on schedule, but with a stand-in bride. Bellani photographs the fake ceremony and leaves. Therefore, the team can quietly search for the missing Lara. But the decoy must fool James too. He cannot know Lara is gone. Therefore, they need an outsider fast. They choose Katie. She refuses again and again. But the offer keeps climbing, £5,000, and Katie could do something wonderful for her poor, sick mother. Therefore, she says yes. The beauticians transform her into a blonde vision. 1 hour of pretending, they promise. No real feelings involved. Now watch the ceremony that was only ever supposed to be a photo.
I will.
Arbor, take you. Lara, Elizabeth Tyler.
James recites the vows for real, believing it is Lara under the veil. Then the priest pronounces them married. James lifts the veil and sees Katie, the toilet girl. He is furious and bewildered. Steve confesses everything. Lara is missing, and this ceremony was only meant to buy time. But nobody planned for what just happened. James wants to run out and find Lara, but Steve stops him. A famous man charging around would ruin everything. So James and Katie are trapped together, waiting. He still cannot even remember her name. Then Katie drops a quiet bomb. In the confusion, she signed the register with her own real name. Outside, Steve tells the press the couple will spend their wedding night in the turret. Therefore, Bellani camps there instead of hunting Lara. James and Katie trade insults for hours. He mocks her small island life. She mocks his blocked writing and his years of living in a shed at the bottom of Lara's garden. But underneath the sniping, they keep seeing each other clearly. Therefore, something dangerous starts to grow. Meanwhile, Bellani reveals his secret. He has loved Lara from afar for years and hides tender photos of her. He vows he will find Lara and win her. Not very likely, Katie says. Now watch what happens when they try to escape the castle by pedalo.
I'm sure you'll be released back into the community shortly. Get back inside! Goodbye.
The little boat floods and nearly sinks. James pulls Katie to safety. Therefore, she owes him her life. Soaked in laughing, they finally soften. Each admits to being the bigger loser. It is the first honest moment between them. Then Lara's voice crackles over a radio. She is alive and has found her own way. She tells James to meet her at the place where the lovers kiss in his book. Bring the priest and the rings. But the story keeps knotting tighter. Katie learns her mother sold the wedding tip to the press for travel money. Katie and James unpack their scars. His father is gone. Her ex called her one song, not a whole album. James describes his perfect woman, and every word secretly fits Katie. Therefore, the pretending gets harder. Katie finally brings James home to meet her mother. The truth of the fake marriage starts spilling out. James turns cold and accuses Katie of staging the whole trap for money. Therefore, they wound each other and split. But her mother sees straight through it. She asks the real question, do you like him? The dying woman gives Katie one gift of wisdom. A life of brave mistakes beats a life of doing nothing. Meanwhile, James wanders the island lost, hunting the cove where Lara waits. He is recognized, then mistaken for a wandering musician, and even roped into playing the bagpipes for two deaf islanders. Katie finds him. She says the only sensible thing left. They need to get divorced. Therefore, they set off together to find Reverend McDonagh, the one man who can untangle their accidental marriage.
They've escaped.
We need local intelligence.
But Balani corners Katie for information. He knows she can lead him to the runaways. On the road, James and Katie imagine a life in a little ruined house. What a life we could have had, he says. James admits he wishes he had come to this island sooner. The pull between them is now undeniable. Then Angus attacks, a married islander who has always wanted. Katie charges at James. Angus begs Katie to run away with him, but he is already married, and so technically is she. Therefore, Katie sends him back to his wife. It stings because loving someone back is exactly what Katie cannot do here. She still thinks James belongs to Lara. An old islander explains an ancient Heg law. A wife stolen by mistake can be reclaimed before the marriage is real. So if James reaches Cathedral Cove before nightfall, his license with Lara stays valid. The true wedding can still happen. James now has half an hour and a terrible choice. Race to marry the movie star or stay with the woman beside him. They arrive at the ceremony spot, but first they must formally undo their accidental marriage. The priest asks if they take each other. Both say a firm no. Therefore, they remove their rings and become strangers again. Then Katie risks everything. She tells James maybe he is not meant for Lara. Maybe he could just stay here. With her, James goes silent. Katie braces for him to say she is only one chapter, never a whole book. Therefore, she flees, heartbroken.
Just one chapter, not a whole book.
But the paparazzi have found them. The chase crashes toward the haunted toilets where the final wedding is set. The truth finally untangles. Lara stages a grand public exit, announcing she is retiring and honoring a beautiful Scottish woman who never got to see the world. James and Lara agree they were never right for each other, and the only marriage that was ever real, on paper and in truth, is James and Katie. But Katie does not know it yet, and she is already leaving the island. Time passes. James publishes a new book, Richer and Truer, a second edition of the guidebook Katie started, now calling Heg a tiny rock of perfection. But Katie has moved on, chasing her mother's old dream of traveling the world. She keeps almost leaving, one boat, one flight at a time. The islanders give her a lucky charm and keep insisting she will be back for good someday. Then James appears on the dock. He has been chasing her with phones and letters she never answered. He begs her to read his new book. She admits she never could bring herself to open it. So he tells her the dedication. To my wife, a chapter can be a book. A friend confirms it aloud. The only person James ever truly wed was Katie. He and Lara only let the press believe the rest.
Reason he ever wed was you. But he and Lara let the press think that...
He's not married.
James explains his whole book. A stupid man who makes a terrible decision and loses someone amazing, then realizes he cannot live without her. Lara is fine. They parted as friends and agreed they were never right for each other. Therefore, nothing stands between James and Katie now. And the guidebook Katie once wrote as a joke has quietly made her a real writer. James says he even read it and loved her intelligent feedback. So the stranger hired to fake a wedding for 1 hour becomes the only real bride after all. James came back to steal her heart like a sheep raider of old, and this time she finally lets him. The last shot is a quiet island kiss on the dock, years in the making.